evening and welcome to Live Lent, God's Story, Our Story, a series of stories, prayers and meditations for the evenings of Lent on this Friday the 17th of March. This evening our theme is being vulnerable, and we opened with Rachmaninoff's Bogoroditsy Dievo. Draw us, Lord, to yourself by the power of your Spirit. Quieten our hearts and minds as we approach in worship. Hold us in the love of your Son as we follow him through temptation to the cross.
Journey with us, Lord.
Tonight we seek your face and forsake our empty hours. Tonight we seek you above all things. Cleanse us, Lord, from all that distorts your image in us.
In your mercy, forgive us.
From all that divides us from one another and from you.
In your mercy, forgive us.
For our satisfaction with less than the truth.
In your mercy, forgive us.
For any dishonesty in thought and action.
In your mercy, forgive us.
For worship that is unworthy of you.
In your mercy, forgive us.
May the Lord forgive us and grant us peace in our hearts and lead us by the Spirit this night and always.
Amen. Tonight's reading, Being Vulnerable, John chapter 4 and verses from that chapter. A Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." His disciples had gone to the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask a drink of me, a woman of Samaria?" Jews do not share things in common with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." Thanks be to God. We come now to this evening's reflection. We looked at part of this passage last week. Today, we look at the beginning of the story. If you have time, do read the whole of the encounter between Jesus and the woman of Samaria in chapter 4 of John's Gospel. There is something of a power imbalance in this meeting. Jesus is a man, a Jew, a teacher with followers, a speaker who commands large crowds. His conversation partner is a woman in a patriarchal world, a Samaritan in a society that discriminated against them, a woman who has been married multiple times in a culture where she would be disdained. There is no doubt then where the power lies between them. And yet Jesus makes himself vulnerable by asking this woman for a drink. He begins by acknowledging his thirst, a need that he could not meet, but which she could. From that exchange flows the longest conversation with Jesus that we have in the Gospels, a dialogue that changed a life and a community. Amen. And now the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Jesus, thank you that you made yourself vulnerable in your birth, in your death, and in your conversations with others. Please help us to do likewise. Amen.
At this evening hour, may the Christ who walked on wounded feet
walk with us on the road.
At this evening hour, may the Christ who serves with wounded hands
stretch out our hands to serve.
At this evening hour, may the Christ who loves with a wounded heart
open our hearts to love. Amen.
May the Lord hold you in his loving arms. May he grant you restful sleep and peace in your hearts. May he bless you and keep you safe, this night and forevermore.
Amen.